everybody. My name is Erdman, and this is Manfred as program. And last week, Manfred still wanted his exhibition in the old space because we were still not ready for this space. But here we are tonight, and I'm really happy that you all arrived and you could all be here, both for me and for Manfred. Manfred always has an opening speaker, and it's always wonderful. He finds really interesting, wonderful people. And
don't speak too soon.
and it's my absolute pleasure tonight to welcome Ramesh. Love you, who will give us an opening speaker. Ramesh.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you for the Erdman Gallery.
Can you take 5 minutes? Can you bring Marlene? I need her to help her. Okay. Can you just get a few seconds? Sorry.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you for this gallery for hosting this important exhibition.
Excuse me.
There's been a massive panic, I think, expressed by Chris Lederhowski. Where has he disappeared already? Is he gone?
No.
Is he at the back? At the exit, asking me if I was going to present a 60-page talk, and I said, of course, Manfred Ziller doesn't deserve anything less than 60 pages. So here you go, it's 60 pages. I want to firstly say that this is an opportunity to thank Manfred for a very, very generous gift he's made to the University of the Western Cape. It's a collection, it's an artwork that he's donated to the University of the Western Cape. We've spoken at length about what it would mean to invite Manfred's work into a space that apartheid had created without a sense of texture, without feeling, without a sense of artwork. And even though the university has a massive, vast art collection, it does not have a space to display that artwork. And thankfully, Manfred, his wisdom and his generosity, offered this work to the university, which will go up in the new chemistry building, just as an intervention into the sciences from the humanities, which is a very important work about migration and about the possibility of thinking life histories and migrants. So Manfred, this is thank you for inviting me, for taking the risk, and thank you very much for the gift you've made to the University of the Western Cape. I think we look forward to these opportunities where we can engage the arts in a different way. So I have a few words to say. It's not going to amount to 60 pages. But I want to start by saying that Manfred Ziller's art is as much a tribute to Brecht as it is a gesturing to the lasting consequence of the thought of a French philosopher called Maurice Merleau-Ponty. Like Brecht's epic theatre, his work constitutes its audience as a collective. Manfred Ziller helps us to distinguish between reproduction of dystopia and discovering the conditions of life. He asks us what it means to swim and stay afloat in a sea of dystopia. It is an important reminder that when the spectre of death casts its shadow over life, there is always also life. I believe that as an audience collectively constituted by Manfred Ziller's work, we need to ask not what Manfred Ziller has given to politics in South Africa, which of course is substantial, but what, if anything, might politics take from his work? It is to the idea of political perspective, of a politics informed by perception, that I wish to point to in opening this exhibition. I want to begin by thanking Manfred Ziller for performing the thankless task of reminding us that politics is inconceivable without perception. The work of art, as those of us who grew up on the windswept Cape Flats knew all too well, constitutes the conditions of life as much as it gives to life a sensory quality that is at the heart of proclaiming our subjectivity as human. Unlike the dystopia found in the work of Kentridge, for example, and I know I'm going to be persecuted for this comment, Manfred Ziller can be depended on to take us for a swim, to dissolve waste matter into a matter of life. In his hands, the reconfiguration of the meaning of life history is not inconsequential, especially as the dead certainties of a battered landscape give way to a realm of perception that reworks how we come to understand the relation between our political subjectivities and transient biography. It is not surprising, then, that this show puts the work of portraiture in relation to the work of a modernity at sea. This is perhaps best thought of as a script produced between utopia and dystopia, one that Manfred Zille contributed as a major intervention in the tradition of art making in South Africa. Emile Maurice, who is here with us tonight, the curator of our collections in the Center for Humanities Research at the University of the Western Cape, recently waxed lyrically about his first encounter with Manfred's work. Emile Maurice encountered Zille's two woodcuts from the 1970s, Kinderstele and Kindermoordenaar, and realized immediately that Zille was cutting to the heart of the debate on art and resistance in South Africa at the time. Stumbling upon Zille's work, he hurriedly told me how he experienced a glimmer of hope in Manfred's art that offered new perspectives in an environment stultified by the debate of the 1970s and 1980s. As Maurice suggests, Manfred seemed to bring the work of metaphor back into resistance art, thinking about form and content as dialectically constituted, but never allowing content to colonize form. A crucial part of that intervention related to how to keep the work of art perceptually open in a field that demanded commitment, grounding, and standpoint. Stated differently, it was an invitation to swim in the sea of despair, of hyper-masculinity. The penis, after all, functions as an absent cause in most of Manfred's work, and to stay awake and afloat. As Cesare Casarino once put it, our modernity has always been at sea. Whether in the work of Melville's Moby Dick or Conrad's Heart of Darkness, the sea has a terrifying and yet enticing symbolic currency in our anticipation of life after industrialization and the rule of private property. But like Casarino, who argues for new concepts in the midst of industrial dystopia, Manfred Zille asks us to think about the conditions of life anew. This is as much a matter of technique as it is of thought. Besides the Brechtian currents in Manfred's work, we also find resonances with phenomenological thinking of someone like Maurice Merleau-Ponty, no relation to Emile Maurice. Viewing the triptych of the Aphrodite series, I could not help but bring myself to think about the wonderful discourse on perception by Merleau-Ponty, contained in an essay titled The Primacy of Perception. In no small measure, Manfred Zille wants us to rethink politics and perception. In this, his work brings politics to the point where it brushes up against the philosophical thinking of perception, more forcefully than his early work, which we are all familiar with. In fact, Manfred seems to be doing the reverse in this work. And this is where his Brechtian sensibility gives way to Merleau-Ponty. Merleau-Ponty gives us a way to think of perception as an open field, as never really being wrong. The example he gives is about a walk on the beach, where one sees an object in the distance. At first glance, the object appears to be a branch. But 50 meters on, it takes the shape of a dog, with a penis, I might add. But upon arriving at the object, you realize that it is, in fact, a person. In each anticipation of the object, our perception is wholly adequate to the field of vision in which we are ensconced. The triptych that Manfred offers us seems to play out the subtle philosophical point that one finds in Merleau-Ponty's work to great effect. As if to replay this theme from Merleau-Ponty, Manfred Zille asks that the commitments of a work ought to derive from the realm of perception. The object of politics, when threaded through perception, is not therefore one that can be known in advance. And so too often in this country, when we think of the political, when we think of politics, we think of that which we know in advance. Stated more bluntly, if art governed politics, Manfred. That's not enough. Any text? Stated more bluntly, if art governed politics, then politics could only ever be a problem space in which we learn to swim. In many respects, the work of Manfred on display here tonight is a lesson in politics that our society would do well to heed. If political thought were threaded through Manfred Zille's work, if political thought in this country would be threaded through Manfred Zille's work, it would discover politics as an art, in which the very prospect of reducing political statements to simple reductions of standpoints would be called into question. What the work displays is a need to open politics to perception, to the receiving horizon of the human condition, the distribution of its objects, and how what we think those objects are differ with the passage of our being. Stated differently again, Manfred Zille is not satisfied to return aesthetics to politics, but to think politics through the perceptual field that the work of art offers. And while we are at it, in the turbulent sea in which the scene of the sublime is enacted again and again, or more comfortably strolling through thoughtfully along the beach, we realize that the world opens up to us in the same manner that life is set to see. I want to thank Manfred for this work. I want to thank Manfred for the departure that this work instigates, departure in our thought. I think this country deserves Manfred Zille more than it realizes. Thank you very much.
I want to change the drawing of the Karoo.
Tonight.
Tonight, yes.
To the music.
It's going to happen while Gas is somewhere outside is playing the duet, you know.
Right. Well, there you have it. We're waiting for the musician,
Okay.
and then Manfred will be painting.
I must skip going to happen here. I made this drawing from a part of the Karoo, and everybody knows about fracking. I had a good companion coming with me, driving with me to the Karoo, Sonia. She drove me to the Karoo. And what I'm going to do, I just want to change the story. I would like to add the fracking onto it. So everybody knows about the fracking, what's possibly going to happen in the Karoo. So, and Gas Erasmus is just he's going to play. We have to inspire each other, you know. What I'm going to do first, I saw a very good movie about the fracking in America, one is called Gaslands. And then they show the picture of the landscape in America where they did the fracking, and the landscape looks like a chessboard. So what I want to do, I want to make a chessboard out of the Karoo.
Manfred, do we have to be so silent?
No,
When we
not at
talk?
all.
When we talk? Very quiet.
I didn't say that.
So we can talk.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, I've been here. I was here last week. I had no comment.
Thank you. Guys, Erasmus. By the way, we also have a band that's called As Is. Guys, Erasmus and Niklas Zimmer. Thank you.
No.